Hi, and welcome to this section, which is going to be a quick refresher on Python 3. First thing we'll look at will be the Python type hierarchy, and we'll limit our focus to the data types that we're going to work with in this course. Next, we'll look at multi-line statements and strings. Now, we are interested in multi-line statements because we sometimes want to write our code over multiple lines for readability reasons. We don't want to have to scroll back and forth necessarily as we're looking at a line of code, or just to break things up neatly. And then while we're at it, we'll also look at multi-line strings. Then we'll look at naming conventions. How do we name our variables? How do we name our methods? How do we name classes? And we'll look at some of the rules and some of the suggestions for these naming conventions. And it really becomes important to understand these naming conventions when we start getting into object-oriented programming. But we'll cover that in a later section in this course. Next, we'll look at conditionals. So like if statements, for example, are conditionals. Then we'll look at functions. Now, this is not going to be a deep dive into functions. We're just going to look at the basics of how to call a function, how to define our own functions and parameters, but very simple stuff, just the basics. Then we'll take a look at loops, and in particular, we'll cover the while loop and the for loop. And then we'll also look at the break and continue statements. And we'll also look at how they behave when you have them in try statements inside a loop. What happens with the break and the continue. And then we'll also look at the else clause that can be added to for loops and while loops. All right, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.